It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It is great to have you with us. Back in the home studio for the day. Not the normal setup because it's like those Progressive commercials where the guy says, I bought the memory pills. No, that's actually an AT&T commercial, I think, where I bought the memory pills and I forgot to cancel the subscription or something like that. And that's me. I forgot to bring an essential part to my remote kit, but I figured I could pull this off today. And Pilkington tells me I sound fine, so we're going with the all-Apple products. It's a flex, according to somebody who's standing by. It's Joe Day here.
Yeah, Joe crossover event.
It's a Joe crossover event. Joe Samson is with us here in the first segment, Joey Football. He may play Hold My Beer later on. Joe Ovies from the OG podcast, formerly of 99.9 The Fan, is going to be on the PJ Show for the first time ever. So that's what we have in store for you today. I booked a guest in the first segment because I had no time to truly show prep since this morning. So anything that I missed, Pilkington, since, let's say, 10 a.m. that I need to be aware of. Philip the Rep Pilkington, the producer of this fine radio product.
Yeah, the one thing that I think you might have missed is the ACC tournament, or the ACC has announced their next 5 years of tournament dates, and it's all going to be right here in the state of North Carolina where the ACC tournament belongs. Wow. 3 of them being in Charlotte, which, too many Carolina fans in Charlotte, and 2 of them being in Greensboro. So not going up to D.C., not going up to Brooklyn, always a good thing for the ACC tournament.
Baseball announced also next 6 years, 3 in Charlotte, 3 in Durham for the ACC tournament.
Okay, interesting. By the way, let's comment on the garb today. I'm sort of grungy doing what I got to do. Philip is dressed like he is on a Land's End catalog cover. It's kind of what he's looking like today. Land's End Pilkington, which for Pilkington's pretty good. LLB Pinkerton. Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and then
at least in this decade, I won't get made fun of. If I went back to 1955 in a DeLorean, they would say the dork thinks he's going to drown. He's wearing a life preserver. At least nobody said that.
You could be like a former mayor and wear a life preserver in a puddle. You could always do that. A life vest in a puddle. Of course, he may have drowned, but anyway, I digress. And then we have Joey Football, who is bragging about Zach Agnos giving him that pullover, and you look like, with this new haircut, a 60s sitcom dad is what you look like.
Hey, Leave It to Beaver, man. What a great show. Just an unbelievable writing sense. I have always wanted to be in a sitcom, so maybe that's where the inspiration came from. I mean, anytime you could just try and emulate Fraser Crane could be a good week.
There you go. I like to watch that on Cozy TV sometimes when there's nothing else on. So, all right. Be funny right now, Joey Football. So, we have the Super Bowl. I'm looking at this, and I cannot wrap my mind around going against the Chiefs in every aspect, with the exception of 2, maybe the safety position, but with every aspect, San Francisco is at least equal, if not better, in every aspect of the game,
without question,
except for quarterback. And I'm going to say except for head coach, because I don't think we give Andy Reid enough credit for what has gone on and what he has done in his career. I think we kind of look at him as the chunky guy who talks about nuggies in a commercial, and we all get a ha-ha over.
Cheeseburgers, yeah.
Right. But I think Andy Reid and I know Mahomes are the advantage for Kansas City. And that might be all they need.
That's the difference maker, hands down. I saw a statistic that kind of was a little jarring to me. 16 former head coaches or current head coaches, however that plays out, coached under Andy Reid as assistants, either in Philly or in Kansas City. And I think that just kind of speaks to the preparation he has, the way he's kind of handled things. Everybody counted out the Chiefs this year. Oh, big bad Chiefs are losing to the Lions in week 1 without Chris Jones and Travis Kelce. They dropped a game on Christmas to the Raiders at home in Arrowhead. Are they the same Chiefs? Can they go on the road? Mahomes has never won on the road in his playoff career. The Chiefs is still the Chiefs. Anytime you have the new Patriots, and that's what we're dubbing them as media members, you have to take them. And I think the advantage definitely goes to Mahomes and Andy Reid and their play calling, but their understanding of game management. You don't have to win everything in the first quarter, and we saw that last year in the Super Bowl when they went down at the half. They went down about 7 points or 6 points to the Eagles. The Eagles were getting the ball back, and then Hurts fumbles, the linebacker picks it up and scores, and the whole game changes. And however you want to dictate the last play and how it went with the Juju Smith-Schuster being held or not, they still scored. Sky Moore on the pivot return pass that they had shown previously in the game and went back to a return there. That just shows the coaching of Andy Reid. And I think it happens again this week. We've seen that Shanahan can get kind of stagnant at sometimes when he plays from behind. I think the Lions was the first time I've really seen him play from behind and kind of coach to win as opposed to just trying to get out of there. So I definitely give the advantage to the Chiefs in the coaching department, but every other athlete on the field, it feels like, is wearing a gold helmet.
In their run through this playoff, they will have not faced an offense that is as explosive, that is as dynamic as what they're going to face Sunday in Vegas against San Francisco. With that said, during this playoff run, when they had to score and kind of match Buffalo, they did. Played ahead in that one. They set the tone early. I mean, they score on their first drive of every game, it seems like, especially in the postseason. So what is remarkable is that they're never playing, at least in the postseason, trailing, and they can match you with points still. They've proven that. And if you've had 2 weeks to game plan, I think offensively they will be pretty dynamic. With all of that said, I really do believe San Francisco, on paper, is the team that should be favored in this game. But I just, again, with Mahomes and with Reid, I can't wrap my mind around it.
I think that's a very fair way to look at it. You can't wrap your mind around it. The only team that the Chiefs on paper were better than as far as rankings, scores, statistics, anything that you want to take the nerd analytic categories and try and make football a formula instead of a game was the Dolphins. And as far as people looked at that, they were like, okay, after that, they're going to have to go to Buffalo. If they beat Buffalo, they got to go play the Ravens. The Ravens are the number 1 team. And the Chiefs reinvented themselves 3 different weeks. First week, it was all about running the football, controlling the pace of play. Yeah, it's 13 degrees. Nobody cares. Run the ball. Do what you have to do. Get through that game so you can go to Buffalo. Buffalo, they go for an offensive explosion in what was basically a blizzard a couple days before, and you just kind of looked at them and you saw how Trinquell plays as far as the linebacking core goes. I mean, they stopped a fake punt that they haven't seen on film. I'm sitting here laughing because everybody was like, yeah, the Chiefs are going to lose to the Bills. And what happened? Mahomes took over, did what he had to do, and they reinvented themselves that way. They knew they didn't have to be as explosive and still take some time off the clock. And then we watched an old school AFC shootout for the AFC title game for Ravens and Chiefs. Ravens scored 3 points in the second half, and that was a garbage time field goal, essentially trying to get the ball back to force them into a winnable situation. And the Chiefs just have handled everything as needed. I haven't seen the 49ers have to do that. And yeah, the Packers, it got a little sloppy in the rain, but you had the bye week to kind of reel some things in and knock the rust off. And then the Lions, you almost completely collapse like a 28-3 situation with your Shanahan again. But on the opposite side of it, you just get punched in the mouth and claw your way back. So I still have to think that the Chiefs can reinvent themselves after 2 weeks off and find a way to put Shanahan to bed.
Maybe so, but don't you think, though, at some point it is about being talented in more positions? Because, you know, Purdy is not a total tomato can. And he's no Jimmy G, you know.
I think he's better than Jimmy G. I think he's better than Jimmy G. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a tomato can. So, I mean, it's not like he's a game manager. He can make some things happen. He's got dynamic offensive weapons. They're even with the tight end game, which nobody else has been able to say when playing Kansas City. So you might have even a better tight end than Kelce, as much as that pains me to say. So that has to mean something does. And the defense for the 49ers, I mean, really got its act together in the second half. Springboarding off of that and coming from behind in the second half should mean something this week, right?
Yeah, it shows you can play with momentum and you can kind of do those things that football needs you to do, the nasty stuff, as we call it. You're down, you need to stop, you're forcing yourself into a long drive. It means that they have adversity in front of them and they've been able to overcome it. And a lot of teams in the playoffs, when you get to that situation as the one seed with a bye week, you don't necessarily say you can have that and grow as a team. And this is a 49ers team that lost a game to the Bengals at home at one point in the middle of the season, and everybody wrote them off the same way. Oh, they'll go to Philly and they'll get their tails kicked in. They handled Philly the same way. So this isn't a slouch of a 49ers team. I think it's a more talented 49ers team than that 2020 Super Bowl that they played, which obviously was off of the 19 season. So we know the Jimmy G storyline there, and this was the first iteration of the Chiefs being the Chiefs. But Kittle is the X factor, and I think his ability to block and run in space and be able to block on the perimeter to get Debo the ball on the outside, Spagnuolo's got his hands full. And I don't know if there's been an offense they've had to face all year that does these kind of things. So it'll be interesting to see the chess match that takes place. I don't expect a ton of scoring in the first 2-3 drives, maybe not even the first quarter. But once they get a feel for each other and they can start to kind of play chess the same way they've been doing all season, it'll be fun.
Then what would you say the game would ultimately come down to then, Joe?
Yeah, it's going to come down to that fourth quarter, who has the ball last. If you give Mahomes the ball with 1 minute and 12 seconds and 2 timeouts and you pin him at your 25, you're going to pray, because if there's somebody who can do it in this league, it's Patrick Mahomes with the offensive weapons, with Andy Reid, with the know-how. And it's indoors, so you're not thinking about the issues of kicking. You're not thinking about the wind. There's no kind of element to play into that. It's truly just how can you execute in those situations. But Purdy's no slouch either as a game manager. We saw the drive he put together down against the Packers just this season. So I think it's whoever has the ball last. And as much as it's cliche to say that, the team that holds the ball and has the longest time of possession will win this game.
Look, San Francisco overcame the deficit. San Francisco's had some injuries this year that they've played through. So, I mean, this is not a group that has not had its issues. It's not like they've coasted through the regular season with nothing going wrong. No,
this is the 49ers that, if you looked at it, nobody picked him to be the 1 seed up until the Cowboys and the refs absolutely stole one away from the Lions, who themselves were fighting to be the 1 seed at that point. And then as you've kind of seen it progress, they've shown they're weak. They've shown there are things that they need to handle and make adjustments to, and they have. Obviously, people are going to look at the first half of the Lions-49ers game and write off the 49ers. Their offense can't get going. If Dan Campbell doesn't go for it on 4th down every time this isn't a game, that's their identity. And that's what the 49ers have tried to kind of build their own way, as an identity from the last time they were in the Super Bowl and trying to out-tough people. And now with Christian McCaffrey in the run game, which is a huge factor that nobody's talking about compared to Elijah Mitchell or Raheem Morset, I think it was last time when they were in the Super Bowl. That's a huge upgrade as far as that goes. And Trent Williams is playing the best ball of his career at left tackle. And if you can put him in motion and Juszczyk gets a chance to kind of run that ball as well, you come out in 22 personnel, you put some big size on the field and just try and handle them between the tackles. That's your way to win if you're the 49ers. Do I think Shanahan stops trying to get the ball to Debo and Ayuk and all those guys on the outside? No. But if you're in that situation, you know Spagnuolo doesn't stop the run particularly well with that kind of power set, that's where you have to go to.
All right. Are you watching the game in a party situation? How are you watching the game? How are you concerned? I'm assuming you're not. That's right. You're not a fan of either one of these teams. You're a New York Football Giants fan.
I am a Jets fan. Yeah. I live in misery.
Oh, Jets
fan.
You're a New York Football Jets.
I am a New York Football Jets fan. All I know is pain and misery. I don't know why I subject myself to such tortures and horrors, because there's a thing in the Constitution about cruel punishment, but here I am every Sunday. Right. But I don't have a dog in the fight per se. My girlfriend's a Chiefs fan for reasons that we'll leave out to hold my beers. Around somewhere. He's prepping to go USFL. So, you know. Well, get it right. UFL? UFL is the new term. My apologies to the Renegades. But, you know, it'll probably be just a small situation. Me and my roommates, my girlfriend will be there, and we'll just watch, have a lot of snacks, and eat so many wings that I can't breathe.
Okay. Can Pilk come over? Because I don't know what Pilk's doing. Pilk, what are you doing?
Yeah, what you want, Pilk?
I'm going to my roommate from freshman year lives in Rocky Mount.
Oh, that's right. He
Nashville
tells me
area.
this story every year. He goes to Rocky Mount.
Yep.
When you think of where you could spend the Super Bowl, Rocky Mountain immediately leaps to mind.
That screams it. This should be the host city.
Yes, you want to get should be the host
Southern
city.
Nash High School hosts
Super
Bowl 59.
They've got a municipal stadium. They're fine. They've got a great municipal stadium.
Probably grades better than the UNLV turf.
Well, I think it probably would, yes. All right, Joey Football and his 1960s sitcom dad haircut and look. Will you stay and do Hold My Beer when we do a deluxe edition today?
I would love to. It's Joeception.
Okay. All right, it is Joeception today. It's a Joe extravaganza.
Ooh.
Long-awaited appearance on the Patrick Johnson Show is Joe Ovies. We've been trying for decades to get him, and he joins us next.
Toyota's winter wrap-up event. Wrap up a great deal on over 100 pre-owned vehicles, starting under $15,000. We have all makes and models, including luxury. Plus, wrap up a huge warranty and no-charge maintenance. Hurry into Greenville Toyota.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you farm-to-fork beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm-to-fork beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked-to-order seafood, and homemade fixins', we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Hey, grab me one too.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
It's Greenville Toyota's winter wrap-up event. We're wrapping up the year with our biggest savings. Shop new Camrys and RAV4s, $289 a month. Need credit? Get pre-qualified today. Wrap up a great deal with payments from $289 at Greenville Toyota.
Download the new IBX Media app now and get the show for your ears and eyes.
Doesn't it look great on me?
This is the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Okay, welcome back. PJ Show here for you. Tomorrow, we'll have Terrence Copper, former Kansas City Chief, ECU all-time great. Brian Mull also with us. Steve Logan is going to appear tomorrow morning on Talk of the Town with Henry and myself on 103.7 and 96.3, and we will bring you an encore of that tomorrow because it's Friday and I just don't feel like doing a whole lot. All right, here joining us now. We've tried for decades to get our next guest on the show with us. For years, he was holding it down on 99.9 The Fan, and now he's one of the great podcast extraordinaires. out there. The OG Network, the OG Podcast, Joe Ovies for the first time ever. And here's what's going to happen. Dr. No is going to get on me because I brought the Rode 2 today. I've got the fancy computer so I could do this remotely, and I left the headphones back at the other place. So this is why I'm having to do this today. So I sound like somebody coming across a computer. You're there in the fancy studio. You've got the nice headphones, the expensive mic, and you're going to sound like $1 million, Joe. But it's nice to have you on with us. This is great.
I mean, Patrick, I'm not the one with Beats. Or no, those aren't Beats. Those are AirPods Pro, are they not? The AirPods Max?
Yes, they are AirPods Pro. Yes, they are. Or as Philip called them, knockoff Beats. Knockoff Beats.
No. I'm kicking it with my Sony MDRs, and all that stuff that I've had for a long time. You're the one who's flexing with those AirPods Maxes, Patrick. Well, come on now.
I hate to tell you, they were very expensive. Everything I'm wearing today is quite expensive. All right, so it's radio. What can I? You gotta do so. We know how much money they make in radio. Let me say this: we talked to Joe Giglio frequently. He was not available today, but I will tell you this, Joe Ovies. I'm kidding, of course. I'm joking.
No. He's not available because he ditched me to go drink up the way in downtown Raleigh. He's having a good old time. I'm like, oh, now I know why you were like, hey, did you respond to Patrick? I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah. So I told him this a few weeks ago, and I'll tell you, I find it deliciously ironic that according to the Capital Broadcasting Best of list, your podcast was the best podcast of 2023. I find it deliciously ironic that was the case.
Yeah, sometimes you get a sheet cake on your way out. I didn't get one, so I'll take I'll take that. I'll take that.
I always like the photos of the sheet cake. That is a nice touch that you see from some of our friends that they get in our brethren in the media. That's pretty good. All right, so let me ask you, the Super Bowl. This is so people. I'm sure. I don't know how much you've talked about this on your guys' podcast. I'm sure you have because you're involved in it. The Taylor Swift thing. I understand. Hang on. I understand. It irked me a little when in the game against Baltimore, Kelsey catches the touchdown. Hell of a catch. Yeah. And the first thing we cut to is her in the box. I will admit, it irked me just a little. It irked me just a little.
Why?
It just did. I don't know. Maybe it was the mood I was in that day.
Why? Give me a reason why.
Because I think they should have shown something else. I don't have a problem with them cutting to her. Just don't make it the first cut. That was like the first cut after the touchdown catch.
Patrick,
shouldn't you get Mahomes' reaction?
Patrick, absolutely not. Absolutely. What? Look, man. Are we doing the Hold My Beer segment already? Is that where you're leading me?
No. But here's what. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
This week, all bets are off. I have no issue with it this week because this week it's so much more than football this week, even though it's all about the football this week. So this week, it's fine. It's just, I don't know. It just kind of drove me a little batty in the AFC Championship game. I have no problem cutting to her. Just don't make it the first cut. That's all. That's my only thing. Don't make it the first cut.
She's literally dating the guy who caught the touchdown pass, and he made heart hands at the box. Where do you expect them to cut to?
No, he had not made heart hands yet. He spiked the ball first and talked his jive before he made heart hands.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, the Taylor Swift thing is weird to me because I always find it funny in our business what us dudes decide to get mad about and what we don't get mad about, right? I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I find it super, super strange what we get hype about. Like, well, what does that have to do with football? Man, I'm on social media enough to know that if Bruce Springsteen was in that box, a bunch of middle-aged white dudes would be salivating over the fact that there's Bruce, oh my goodness. Or if I've been to enough football games in Chapel Hill, I've been to enough football games at NC State and at Duke, they trot people out there all the time. NC State, they'll trot out Scotty McCreery. I love Scotty. Scotty's my guy. What's he got to do with football? They'll bring out, like, Mac Brown is like, oh, Eric Church is my guy, and he's got his little Carolina thing going on. Okay, cool. What does that have to do with football, man? So I find this kind of stuff funny.
But they don't they don't cut to him after a touchdown. That's not the first cut.
So they don't cut to, they don't cut to them, but they cut to the owner. What did the owner do? What did the owner do? Owner call up the play. What did Jerry Jones do in this situation? You know, how many times did they cut over to, like, now David Tepper might throw water at you. I mean, now that's something to cut, right? But, like, they cut the stuff all the time. The television product is exactly what it is. It's supposed to be television. It's entertainment. The NFL did not get to be this billion-dollar industry. It does not get 25 million people watching it on a week-in, week-out basis. It doesn't get over 100 million people to watch the Super Bowl without elements of entertainment. And I don't know about you. Was it Philip? You're going to a Super Bowl party? I'll tell you who's going to have the best Super Bowl parties. It ain't going to be your homie out in Rocky Mount. It's going to be a Swiftie. They're going to have like themed accoutrements. They're going to have a charcuterie board in the shape of Travis Kelce. They're going to have like bomb wings. Like, I want to go to a Swiftie party for the Super Bowl, man, because that's going to be the best party. Let's be real.
Do you believe that she has single-handedly introduced the game to people who would otherwise not be interested?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Then why is the game rejecting her? Why does the game reject her then, Joe? Why are we so cruel to Taylor Swift? Why?
Do you want the real answer?
Yes, that's why we had you on to give us the real of the real, the realist.
Because she's a successful woman. It's that simple. I mean, I really don't know what else to say. Oh no, a successful woman. We can't have that. Now, look, man, I know where you have me on right now, and I'm sure if you guys have a text line, there are some people who are going to be upset about this. But it always cracks me up as I'm approaching 44. As I'm approaching 44, it always cracks me up when I talk to other people in my age group, right? And I'll give you a good example of this. I was at my kids' hockey practice not that long ago, and it's all a bunch of similar-aged parents, and they were talking about the music that their kids listen to. And all the parents were like, I can't believe my kid listens to this. And I was like, well, what are they listening to? I can't stand Cardi B. I don't know, Megan Thee Stallion, whoever this person is. And I'm laughing. I have to remind them. I'm like, wait a minute. Weren't we all in high school around the same age? I'm like, yeah. Well, what were you listening to? Oh, I was listening to Biggie. I was listening to Dre, Foxy Brown, Little Kim. I'm like, oh, Missy Elliott too? Shall I read back some Missy Elliott lyrics that you were getting into back in the day, right? So it's just weird. I guess we get older. We get more stuck up about stuff. We're looking for things to get like annoyed by. And it's like, man, enjoy it. It's just sports. It's just entertainment. And everybody's winning off this thing. And I hope you all understand that this is going to go. Well, actually, I have a question for you, Patrick, since we're on the topic of Taylor Swift.
Yes,
and this is why Swifties are the best. All right, so this is Super Bowl 58. No, okay, so context purposes here. Taylor Swift's favorite number, her lucky number is, do you know this, Patrick?
I don't know. I'm going to 8.
No, it's 13. So 13, she just won Album of the Year, which was her 14th overall Grammy. But when she won her 13th Grammy, she announced her new album. She was excited about it. Like, 13 is my lucky number. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl 58. What do 5 and 8 add up to, Patrick?
Oh, 13. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
And they're playing the 49ers, 4 + 9.
Which means what? Phillips out of this. All right. Also, when is the Super Bowl date? The Super Bowl date is on February 11th, right? 2/11. What's that add up to?
13. Yeah, this is all. I see where you're going with all.
I see where this going. All right. Also, the seeds. The seeds matter too. So the 49ers were the number 1 seed in the NFC. What was the seed of the Chiefs?
3. 13.
3. 13.
Yeah.
How many hours is it going to take for her to get from Tokyo to Las Vegas?
13 at least. You know, the big issue is
exactly 13. No, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm sorry.
I'm not done.
Sorry.
What number game? How many games has she been to when she goes to the Super Bowl? How many games has she attended?
I'm going to guess 13.
You're right. Now, here's the question. This is where things get real. Okay. What's Brock Purdy's number? What's Brock Purdy's
13,
number?
isn't it? It's 13, isn't it? It's 13, right?
Right. So 13 is her lucky number, and all these things are looking trending Chiefs. What does Brock Purdy 13 mean?
Is it the 13 that overcomes all the other 13? Because he is the real 13.
Be. Or maybe it cancels out. Or maybe Brock Purdy's going to get hurt. I really don't know what's going on. Look, man, all I'm saying is don't underestimate the Swifties, man. Just don't underestimate. Do not do it. Just don't do it. I like how you talk to the other two about football.
Joe Ovies. Well, I knew you. This is be right up your alley. This is right in your
right.
wheelhouse. This is. Look, I know, and I kind of wanted to irk my audience today, so I'll have Ovies on, and we'll talk about Swift for the first few minutes.
Man. If you really want to irk your audience, bring Steve in. I'll really tick him off. Let's go. Shout out to Coach. I love Logan. I miss him.
All right. Well, let me ask you this. What is that? Is that a bottle holder? What is that you're drinking there? What is that?
It's a canteen.
For the radio audience, okay, it's a canteen. For the radio audience, they won't care. But
yeah.
Okay, very nice. Joe Ovies, the OG podcast, downloadable wherever you download your podcast Monday through Thursday, because Joe is smart enough not to work on Fridays when he got out of terrestrial radio. That's what makes him as smart as he is. The Taylor Swift thing, it's a problem she has. And this is my solution to the problem she has. Okay. As of this morning, there was concern that there was nowhere to park the jet at any of the airports in Vegas, Harry Reid or any of the other three. I say, this is what I say, fly to Los Angeles, Vegas. Fly to Los Angeles where there's plenty of room. Helicopter over, land on a helipad. That is a baller move. Get the escort into the stadium. That is the baller move that saves all the headache. And it adds a little bit more drama. Because let's face it, there's nothing more dramatic than a helicopter entrance. Nothing.
You're right. You're right. In Vegas, no less. All the spectacle. Yeah. All the spectacle. Very excited about this.
This needs to be in the rotation, doesn't it, Vegas? It needs to be in the rotation every so often in the Super Bowl rotation.
Yeah, I do think it's ironic that after years and years and years of basically treating Las Vegas like it was hot lava, like nobody could go to Las Vegas. I remember Tony Romo, who's actually calling this game for CBS, was not allowed to do he was not allowed to do like an NCAA tournament gambling show. Well, I forgot who he was supposed to do it with a few years ago. They said, no, couldn't do this. But look, money is everything, right? We got gambling going live here in the state of North Carolina on March 11th. I've always said this for the longest time. You know, the one thing that was going to save the radio industry, for sports talk radio industry, was legalized gambling with all the ads that are coming in and the promo codes and everything else. So people should be fine in that regard. But I think that Vegas also is not the same Vegas that it once was, right? Vegas is not, Vegas went through a phase where they actually tried to become kid-friendly. When I was younger, I remember they built places like Excalibur and the Luxor and all that stuff, which is where the media is staying. So Vegas is just trying to become this entertainment capital of the world. So why wouldn't you have the Super Bowl there or other sporting events that are taking place? So I think it makes a lot of sense. I think gambling and everything, and Gilio and I talk about this all the time. If the sports books, if Vegas could run the world, the sports books, we'd be a heck of a lot more efficient and things would get caught a heck of a lot sooner, because their whole entire premise is based on their whole entire premise is based on making sure that the money that you are betting on this game is legit. They don't need people point shaving. That stuff gets called out. In fact, when North Carolina was going through this and there was the debates that are taking place at the NCGA, I laughed hysterically because you had these old timers invoking the Dixie Classic from the 50s, right?
Right.
And the Dixie Classic, if you're too young and you don't know what the Dixie Classic is, it was this old basketball tournament that would take place at Reynolds Coliseum there on NC State's campus. And there was a point shaving scandal. And it was a serious thing. I'm not trying to diminish it. But here's the thing. The legislators that were bringing this up, people who should be educated to know these types of things, should have understood that the Dixie Classic never happens if legalized wagering was here, right? So all this stuff has to be on the mark. The Carolina Hurricanes really recently got into some scandal because they got rid of people from the side restaurant that they took over. It's this place called the Backyard Bistro, just outside PNC Arena.
Yeah.
And they took it over because they needed something to be a sports book while they're doing the renovations at PNC Arena. And there was a little bit of a transitionary period with employees because you got to pass certain background checks, because the book is not going to deal with anybody that's not 100% cleared. So I think once the NFL had two things happen. Once they realized, wait, this is how all these things stay the way they're supposed to. That's how point shaving scandals get called out. And it's also why I have zero issues with any athlete that gets suspended for an extended period of time for placing bets. It's one real simple rule. Like, you want to go classic sports talk radio, it's the middle of the summer and you have nothing to talk about. Anytime the Pete Rose conversation would come up, I had zero time for it. You had one rule, buddy. One. Don't gamble. Straight up. It's not that much of an ask. And people who think, well, that's hypocritical, it's not. If you want to gamble, you don't have to play in the NFL. If you want to gamble, well, you know what? Don't play in the NHL. It's a real simple line for me not to cross, and I find it really, really weird that people have a hard time with it.
All right, I'm just putting this in my notes on the iPhone, and that is Sports Talk Midsummer. Okay, good. Thank you, Joe. I've been copying off your page
Mount Rushmore.
I've been copying off your page for years, and now I have officially done it before your face. All right, Joe Ovies is with us. Can you hold my beer? And let me ask you a couple ACC things. Can you do that?
Yeah, I just got to get my kid from indoor percussion at 6:00 up the street, so we got time.
Okay, Pilk, make it good, and we'll come back. Hold my beer, and then we'll talk a little ACC news that came out today.
Thanks, P-Man. Starting in Pirate Athletics, the softball team is getting their season underway right now. They're down at Charleston Southern, game tied at 1 apiece in the top of the second inning. However, the Pirates do have runners on second and third with 2 outs. It is being reported by Adrian Wojnarowski that the Hornets are finalizing a deal with the Mavericks to send P.J. Washington to Dallas for Seth Curry and Grant Williams. Tonight is the NFL Honors. We will find out who the MVP is and more, including the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Southern Nash's Julius Peppers has a chance to be a first ballot Hall of Famer if his name is called tonight. Adolis Garcia has signed a 2-year deal to stay with the Texas Rangers worth $14 million. This contract between the ball club and the ALCS MVP will avoid salary arbitration. The Rays have extended their manager, Kevin Cash, as well as their GM, Eric Nylander. The details of this have not been released by the club, but the club has come out and said that both of these should be there through 2028 when the Rays expect to get a new stadium. The ACC has named their future sites for the men's basketball tournament, and as it should be, it will be all right here in the Tar Heel State as part of ACC country. Charlotte will host in 2025, 6 and 8, and Greensboro will host in 2027 and 2029. Waste Management Open first round is going on. Well, kinda. It's being suspended. So much for playing in the desert. Seth Thagala leads at 5 under par, followed by Shane Lowry, Matt Fitzpatrick, and Soo-Hoo Kim. That'll do it for your 94.3 The Game Sports Flash Update and Pirate Report. On the other side of this time out, we will play Hold My Beer with Joe Ovies and Joey Football.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946-1227.
This is about you, your family, and the health of all who live in Eastern North Carolina. This is about the transformation of a health system into something more powerful and more human, about creating new ways to treat disease and keep you well. This is about ECU Health, which is to say, it's really all about you. ECU Health. Minds, hearts, purpose.
Fifth Street Hardware is the home of the $9 lunch special Tuesday through Fridays. $9 specials every day, including the famous Burger Day on Tuesdays, Flatbread Pizza Wednesday, the famous Fifth Street Hardware Reuben on Thursday, and fried fish or shrimp on Friday. plus trivia on Wednesday nights and live music every Thursday nights. And the Prime Rib Brunch Buffet has returned on Sundays. You heard that right. The Brunch Buffet with all the great items, including prime rib, 5th Street Hardware in downtown Greenville.
Your confidence makes everything look good. You see the world in vivid color, not black and white. Swing through your neighborhood Fantastic Sam's cut in color. And let our experienced stylists take you from everyday to extraordinary.
Fantastic Sam's hair salons are locally owned and operated. Our full-service salons are conveniently located in Goldsboro, Kinston, Greenville, New Bern, Jacksonville, and Calabash. Stop in today at Fantastic Sam's, where the possibilities are endless.
Hi, I'm D.R. Alligood.
And I'm his daughter, Jessica.
For 11 years, we have built quality driveways and parking lots for both your residential and commercial needs. We also offer free on-site quotes to have your custom driveways built the way you want.
252-946.
Do you have something you need to get off your chest? Get off your chest.
I am not here for rage. I'm here for revenge.
Did your favorite team blow another game?
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Or is there just something that's driving you crazy?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
It's time to let it all out.
You have made me very angry. Very angry indeed.
With another edition of Hold My Beer.
Hold my
Well, it's like what grinds my gears, Joe Ovies. It's whatever's irritating you. It's sports time. You just got to say, hold my beer before you do it. And then the rest of us will comment. Joe Ovies, OG Podcast, Joe Samson, Joey Football, Philip Pilkington, and myself. I'll go first. My hold my beer is very simple today, and this is technology. There's too much of it, and there's too many moving pieces. Although technology is allowing me to do this show today, so I really can't complain. But I shouldn't say technology as much as broadcast equipment. Should there just be a one-stop thing, Ovies, that's it's got everything built in, and you pull a mic out, pull a headset out. You don't have to plug in. It's just a one-stop thing. Isn't that what we need next?
I think that's what the Apple Vision Pro will eventually be the thing to do. Just like, we'll just have a virtual radio studio that you could do.
Okay.
But
Joe,
can I wear these headphones?
I would point out that a Roadcaster does all those things that you described. You have to
plug in. You have to plug in. You have to, yeah. Can I wear these headphones if we have the Apple Vision Pro? Can I wear these headphones?
Actually, no, you cannot wear those, but I think you can wear AirPods with them, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, all right. All right, so that's my hold my beers. Just forgetfulness, I guess, would be the more appropriate term. All right, Joe Samson, why don't you do a hold my beer so to let Ovies get warmed up in a better way where he can. So that was my hold my beer. What's yours, Joey?
Before we get to that, Joe, you're going to think it's hilarious. Me and Patrick were talking about the Apple Vision Pro off air before we came on, and I said that's where the future of his show was headed. So I appreciate you highlighting that without knowing it. Second, hold my beer. Thank you, graphics. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. The New York Knicks today traded Ryan Arcidiacono, and we put out a thank you graphic. That guy, for the last 4 games, has been doing nothing but cardio and friendship. Okay, the power of friendship is the only thing keeping this man in the NBA because he played at Villanova and he won a national title. And we're putting a thank you graphic for him and Evan Fournier. We've waived Evan Fournier more times than we've waived Taj Gibson, which, might I add, he's still on the roster. We are literally handing people thank you graphics for going to the grocery store, it feels like at this point. Oh, you played 36 seconds for the Toronto Maple Leafs? Yeah, welcome back to the arena. What are we doing?
If they gave thank you graphics for going to the grocery store, you would receive.
I'm 1A. Football. I'm 1A. I love Harris Teeter.
Absolutely.
Shout out Pub Sub.
That was an Ovies-like take. I liked it. That was pretty good.
Joe's not wrong. It was like, didn't they do like a tribute video to Kevin Durant in Brooklyn?
He said like no.
7 games. No, he told them no, and they still did it as though the 7 games were memorable. Like I don't get that. I don't get that. You all can hold my beer while I go in on Brock Purdy.
Wait a minute. No, Pilk, do you have a comment? You don't usurp this. There's an order here. No, Pilk, do you have a comment on what Joey Football had to say, or no?
No, I agree. They're just looking for stuff for their graphics team to do. Look, you deserve a thank you if you have done something for the organization. Yeah, you get one shift on the ice, you take 2 free throws in garbage time. That isn't warranted.
It's like a thank you graphic for Mello on the Hawks.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. You guys are cracking the Ovies.
To that end, you could actually extend it with the college social media teams that, this guy is built different, and it's all like puffy face emojis. And it's like, okay, cool. Like he had like a couple touchdowns today. Like the built different. He's just wide. Like, okay, cool. Well, that's how people want to treat Brock Purdy, as though he's somehow like built different. Nah, man. Like, folks. Y'all want to act like Tom Brady's just fall out of trees, okay? They don't. Tom Brady is unique and special, and it only happens once a generation. So just be happy that Tom Brady happened. But we can't do that in the NFL anymore. We can't do that with talking head television anymore. No. You see, this guy's the next Tom Brady. He's going to win multiple champions. No, he's lucky that he is on a team that has Christian freaking McCaffrey. He is lucky that he's on a team that has Deebo Samuel. He's lucky that he actually has a coach in Kyle Shanahan who just needed somebody who wasn't Jimmy Garoppolo to take him up to the next level. Patrick, I'm pretty sure like you, me, Joe, Phil, we probably could have passed like for a few hundred yards in Kyle Shanahan's system, but we wouldn't have won a Super Bowl, absolutely. Right? But what's funny to me with all the things that are going on with Brock Purdy and the way that we're talking about Brock Purdy is that we have somehow lost the ability to just say, hey, man, this guy's good. What happened? What just happened to him, man? He's pretty good. He's not bad. I like this guy.
If the Chiefs, yes. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to go ahead. It's your show.
I say if the Chiefs win, aren't we talking about Mahomes now and Brady-esque light? If the Chiefs win,
they're already doing it.
I can see that with one more Super Bowl. I can see that with Patrick Mahomes because the way they got around to winning this Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill, defensive-minded, but Patrick can still do his thing, and the teams they had to go through to get to this point. Yeah. I do think it's a little bit on the Brady-like. But now I'm really mad. Did you see Matt Rule this week? Did you see the ex-Panthers coach during Nebraska's signing day?
What did he do?
Jeez.
What did he say?
Can I say jackass? I forgot what terrestrial radio is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that jackass said, I had Brock Purdy on my big board. I wanted to put him up on the Panthers draft board, but, I got vetoed. Shut up.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure you were the dude who moved up to get Matt Corral, or there's this attitude as though he didn't have a say in who they drafted. Like, come on, dude. This guy tries to take credit for everything. Like, he almost took credit for Christian McCaffrey going to San Francisco as the reason why Christian McCaffrey ended up in San Francisco is because you sucked. You sucked as a head coach in the NFL. And now you want to be like, I knew he was special and this and that. We talked all the time. Stop it. Just stop it. The dude cannot help himself. If you want to watch a Matt Rule press conference, just see at the cadence he's talking. As one of our listeners said, it's almost like it's Kevin James doing an interpretation of a football coach for a TV show. The guy is a fraud. He's a total fraud. And I will admit that I take a sweet, sweet joy in watching him suffer. The greatest thing that happened in the football season for me was watching Deion Sanders stick it to Nebraska at the beginning of the season. Just put it in my veins. I was all about that. So, yes, hold my beer. Matt Rule, shut up.
All right. Philip the Ref Pilkington, quickly.
All right, my hold my beer. It's not going to be popular because I know it brings in money. The 25-minute halftime show for the Super Bowl. It is not fair to the players. This is the most important business trip of their lives. I have met one player in my entire life who's played in a Super Bowl that liked it, and he was a kicker. And he goes, well, I usually don't even have time to take a leak anyways on a normal one, so I like the 25 minutes. And he played in 2 of them. So other than that, Russell Wilson has spoken how he had to go take a shower to stay loose. It's not entertainment for them. It is a business trip. You are hosing the players. Halftime should be 12 minutes.
Who's the performer this year, Usher?
Usher.
Say it
Ursher.
right.
Raymond James.
Ursher.
Jones? Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. Usher? Joe? You fine
with
Usher?
He headlined in Vegas.
I know you were in the club dancing a I know you were.
I don't care who's doing it. I don't care if the Beatles, if John Lennon and Ringo Starr or George Harrison are all of a sudden alive again. It should be 12 minutes. That's my point.
I don't know. John Lennon comes back. I take 25 minutes.
He can do the
John Lennon
pregame.
comes back, you might take an hour.
Yeah, might give him the show.
Comes back.
Wait, did you not enjoy the Prince halftime show?
I mean, I did. It was cool to see him sing Rain in Purple Rain, but there are 106 guys, well, I guess 92 in uniform, that are on the biggest business trip of their lives, and they need to get back out there because they're going to get tight, and it's about the players. It shouldn't be about us. Because without players, no us. You need the product on the field.
I don't think Pilk likes the cutaways to Taylor Swift. Here's the other thing. Like Vegas.
I'm okay with
like
it
Vegas,
in moderation. I'm okay with Taylor Swift.
She was on TV for like 44 seconds, guys.
They showed the crab cakes against the Ravens more than they showed her.
Thank you.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
Like Vegas, Bruno Mars should be in the rotation of these things every so often.
That's fair.
I'm with you on that.
I agree.
Bruno's in it. He's good.
Silk Sonic headlining in Vegas anyway. I agree.
Yes.
Well, that's an Apple Music deal. That's its own problem.
I know. Joe's got to go because we've kept him way too long. But thank you, Joe. Will you come back? Will you come back in a decade?
I'm more than happy to come back anytime you guys want me to. I don't know if your listeners will want that, but I'll be more than happy.
We have Dimitri on from time to time. He insults all of us.
Oh, wait a minute. You put Dimitri on?
Well, I've got a long-running history with Dimitri. You both served in the same radio prison. You might remember.
No, I'm aware. So, you were literally a parking lot away from me.
Right.
But
yes.
If you have Dimitri
worlds
on,
away in many other ways.
Yeah,
worlds
that's a good
away
point.
In many other ways.
It's a very.
Yep.
You should. I was going to say you should be used to the equipment things then.
Now I am going to get a memo. All right. Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
All right, Joe Ovies. Great to have him on. This was awesome. This was great. I enjoyed that very much. All right, we'll come back and wrap today's show up right after these words.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport. Storm season is approaching. North Carolina weather can damage your roof, and before long, a small leak can turn into a big problem. Your home is one of your biggest investments, so protect it with Wells Home Improvements.
We work with all insurance companies for a hassle-free roof installation experience. Call us today and get 10% off your roof installation when you mention this commercial.
252-227-8403 or visit us online at wellshomeimprovements.com. Wells Home Improvements. Local, honest, dependable.
Big tax credits are back. Get a 30% tax credit, up to $2,000 off your new Mitsubishi electric heat pump install. Let Comfort Master help you take advantage of the tax credits with a qualifying Mitsubishi electric ducted heat pump or non-ducted Mitsubishi electric mini splits. Mitsubishi electric mini splits are ideal for bonus rooms, garages, or sunrooms. If you need a new HVAC unit, call Comfort Master today.
Call Comfort Master. Call Comfort Master.
Other restaurants claim their food is fresh and fast, but are they friendly? At Moore's, you're treated like family the minute you walk into their doors. With locations in Winterville, New Bern, Swansboro, Morehead City, and Jacksonville. We've been practicing what we preach since 1945. At Moore's, our barbecue is slow cooked and smoked over real wood daily until it's so tender it's falling off the bone. Combined with our fresh chicken, cooked to order seafood, and homemade fixins, we're sure you'll agree. If it's not Moore's, it's less.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
Hey, grab me one too.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville.
All right. Thanks to Joe Ovies, Joey Football, Joe Samson for being on with us today. Philip the Rep Pilkington, intern William. Steve Logan tomorrow on Talk of the Town, and then with us here, the encore of that, as well as Terrence Copper and Brian Ball. Have a great evening, everybody.